Once again, this is Grandmaster Stroud, and I have no reservations about saying that. I'm also called Brother Teacher. I just wanted to chime in on a statement that was made by one of the viewers of my channel. And the statement was pertaining to, well, I should say it was influenced by a video that I had put up, and the fact that I addressed myself as, or presented myself, if you will, as Grandmaster Stroud. Now, sometimes I think individuals don't think things through. I think they're functioning on another wavelength when they respond to videos or questions in person or statements or even subjects for that matter. And they just don't read the context of what's being said oftentimes. And they're functioning more on some other personal agenda or even simply emotions alone. I said all of that to say this. The individual responded to a video that I had posted on YouTube, but they never really said anything about the video. Their only comment was, "You are never supposed to address yourself as Grandmaster. Someone else has to address you as that." So, being polite as I generally am, I responded by saying it depends on the spirit by which you are using that expression. I know traditionally there are some that hold the belief that you just say your first or first and last name, your surname, when you are a martial arts master or grandmaster. But that is a tradition. There are some things that we have picked up from other cultures that are not necessarily our culture. And because we give honor and or respect to the particular thing in which we're involved in this particular case it's martial arts, we follow some of those tenets or those traditions. One of the traditions in martial arts, for example, is bowing. I personally had a couple of experiences where I had a student join and they had a problem bowing because they felt like they were bowing to a god or idolizing a god, and it was against their religion. And I had this happen on 2 occasions, and it seems no matter how much I try to explain to them the significance of the bow, even though we had a mutual respect for one another, they still were not willing to bow. And that was a challenge for me, not on a great level, but because of my personality and my experience in life and in the martial arts, I understood and I respected their religious beliefs. So they remained a student, and that just was not an issue, the bowing, as it were. So I do understand, but this particular issue had to do again with me in the presentation of my video saying this is Grandmaster Stroud. And I had to point out to that individual, in a very polite way, that we don't live in Japan. We're not Japanese. And we don't live in China proper. And we don't live in the Orient, period. And it's the spirit by which you are saying what you're saying. People know if you're humble. They know humility when they see it for the most part. And they know if you're being braggish or if you have an egotistical issue. People pick up on that. And as I said to that individual, it's the spirit by which you say whatever you say. And if that had any credence to it, the statement that they made to me, then it would be sort of similar to a police officer arriving at your house saying, "My name is Officer Jones." Should he not say officer? because it's inappropriate. I'm supposed to recognize him as being officer. What about mayors of cities? Many of them address people all of the time and say, my name is Mayor Simpson, for example. They precede their last name with their title, Mayor Simpson. It happens all of the time. And when you go into a courthouse, if you're not directly in the court itself on the docket and what have you, you might run into a judge in the hallway and you say, how are you doing today? My name is Reginald. And he said, I'm Judge Jones, for example. He will say that his name is Judge Jones. He will precede his last name with his title. It happens every day in America. Now, there are a lot of customs to add to what I'm saying. In other countries, we don't adopt those customs. For example, there are still pockets in Africa where they still put bones through their noses and they put saucers in their lips. Now, are we going to take that custom from Africa and put saucers in our lips in America and bones through our nose and start to cut and serrate our skin as they do customarily in parts of Africa? Are we going to do that? So why are we so caught up on a person saying that this is their title? You follow me so far? Let me give you another one. In Japan, it's okay to slurp your food while you're eating. That's a custom or tradition. I mean, while they're actually eating, they're making loud vocal sounds when they eat, slurping their food up, no matter what it is that they're eating. And it's a sign to say that the food is good. That's a custom in Japan. Also in Japan, they still have community bathrooms. That's a custom and that's a tradition in certain parts of Japan still today. Community bathrooms, and what that means is that boys, girls, women, and men can all go to the same place and take a bath. I mean completely nude, take a bath together, and they don't have to know each other. So are we going to adopt that custom in America? I don't think anyone wants to buy that one. Now in China, they still, in certain parts of China, still eat dogs. They eat their pets. Certain parts of China, and they've been doing it for many, many years. You know, let's dispel the myth that it never happened. Chinese actually do eat dogs. They're pet dogs as well. Only here recently, some have, especially because of tourism and so forth, and things have changed. They become a little bit more modern in that way of thinking. And some of them have actually started adopting the idea of having dogs as pets, but they still do eat dogs in China. So are we going to kill Rover and Fido and Butch, our little dog Jack? Are we going to kill them and then put them on the dinner table over here because that's a tradition of another country? So why are we so caught up on the fact that we mention from a traditional standpoint or from a customary or a ritualistic standpoint, the fact that we are a master? My name is Master Smith, or my name is Grandmaster Brown. Why do we have a problem with that in America? You know, as a whole, by and large, I don't think we have a problem with that in America, especially in the martial arts. I don't think we really have a problem with that. I think the problem is with the individual trying to find fault in another individual. They have their own ulterior motives. They have their own agendas. And oftentimes, when individuals don't like you for whatever their reasons are or whatever their reasons may be, when they don't like you, they always try to cast you in a bad light. They try to find something to try to vilify you, something to try to make you appear not to be what you really have worked most of your lives to be. It's simply the way that it is. So I just wanted to make that point here. So again, on the subject of announcing that you are a Grandmaster, there's nothing wrong with that. Because It's somebody else's tradition. It's someone else's custom. And we have adopted it in America. Just like we have adopted a lot of other customs and traditions in America. They're not unique to America alone. They came from across the world. We have adopted a whole lot of customs and traditions of other ethnicities and other racial groups from across the planet. We have adopted those. This is a melting pot, right? But if we're adopting those from other countries, why in the world are we holding so fast to it as if it really matters that much? Because it doesn't. We should define ourselves. I define me and who I am. I define brother teacher. This is me. No other man can define me, no more than he can define anyone watching this video. He can't define you either. You should be in control of your own destiny, and you should know who you are and what you represent. And it's that simple. That was all I had to say. So when an individual comes to me and asks me my name is Reginald. But if we're in the arena and I'm talking to someone on a martial arts level, hi, I'm brother teacher. I use that term more than I do Grandmaster because I already know who I am. I don't have to beat any dead horses. I don't have any dragons to slay. I'm comfortable with who I am. And Grandmaster said innocently, the master said innocently, I'm the president of such and such a company, said innocently and in the proper spirit. It's all good. And it's okay. That was it. If you have any viewpoints on this particular subject matter, please leave it in the comment section below. And as always, Yahweh love you and I love you. And I'll see you in the next video. So long.